Hello and welcome to the 2010 Villagers Podcast, episode 14. We're back after 10 days, 2 weeks-ish away, as we've now got plenty to talk about finally. Some massive news this week, obviously with the future of the league season and obviously what went on in the Vase last week. So it's good to be back, and we'll try not to upset too many people this week.
Well, Sam, I was just about to say the reason we've been away is because we've been self-isolating from the inbreds from Allerton. That's why we've not been here. We've been isolating from their stupidity and their tin-pottedness. We're now in an environment where we're going to make a joke now. We're back. If you're not watching, I'm going to say this now. If you're easily offended, don't watch.
Yeah.
So I'm not very well. I'm in a bad mood. So don't watch. It's not going to be fucking pretty.
Oh, God. For God's sake, Jack, don't mention the E word. Oh,
I'll try my best. They might come up, but you never know.
Right. Anyway.
I've done some research anyway, so we're all good.
We do have a lot of news to talk about. So where we'll start is the league season's coming back. As officially announced last night by the Counties League, who conveniently had their monthly meeting on the same night that the government announced that they're now allowing fans back in at Tier 3, but now at 15% of ground capacity, so down to 150 from 300 currently. Obviously, we hold out some hope that we might get downgraded to Tier 2 next week. I highly doubt it personally, but...
we're north of Watford, Sam. Let's not be daft about this right now.
Yeah. So it's looking like 150, but that's 150 that's better than nothing. So as it stands, the league season's due to restart next Saturday. Now, obviously, Ferriby have got FA Vase commitments next Saturday, providing Barnton against Seaham gets played tomorrow.
We've got no FA Vase commitments next weekend.
Yeah, I don't think that game's going to go ahead tomorrow. I really doubt it.
Yeah, so we'll see. But as it stands currently, we will be playing either Barnton or Seaham next Saturday. But other than that, the rest of the league will be kicking off again next Saturday, which means Boxing Day football is also back on the cards. And great news that the league season's kicking back off again, because it was getting to the point where you were thinking, can't leave it much longer. They were saying January, but it was going to be tough to fit all the games in. It's positive. It's a positive step.
Yeah, it was going a bit stale, really, wasn't it, without any league football. Obviously, the Vase is very nice, and to have a Vase game is amazing for us to just get back to some football. But those are special occasions. You sort of need that. You sort of need the league in order to make the Vase feel a bit more special, if you know what I mean. And obviously now with that coming back, we don't know whether we'll definitely be playing Boxing Day either on Hayworth Park's bog, or we'll be at the transfer playing Barnton or Seaham. But yeah, it's.
Can I just interject? Who's to say they're going to put the Vase on Boxing Day now with all these games? Surely the teams are not going to want to travel that far on Boxing Day. Is it more likely we're going to see it the week after? You've got to take into account players' travel.
I doubt it, because
on Boxing Day
on the 9th.
They can always push it back.
You could, yeah, but you'd be pushing it very fine if you were to do that. I kind of see your point, but obviously as an FA competition, it takes precedent over the league.
It does. But there's no precedent of it being on Boxing Day.
And also, technically, on Boxing Day, there's actually no travel restrictions anywhere in the country on Boxing Day.
Exactly.
Well, no, that wasn't my point. Are the FA really going to make clubs travel long distances on Boxing Day?
Well,
when they don't have
to.
They
expect them to do it in the league, so why wouldn't they do it in the Vase?
You don't travel from Northwich to North Ferriby in the league, though, do you? Or from where we'll see them to North Ferriby.
Sunderland.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Ash.
That's what I'm saying is...
I get the point.
This whole Boxing Day arrangement was with the idea that there was going to be no league games on that day.
Yeah.
The VFA
But
just say, we're not going to touch Boxing Day. We'll take the week after, because Boxing Day is a strange day.
Yeah, but what the FA have come out and said is they said it for the last round. I'm assuming it's the same for this round. If a game's postponed, it has to be played in 8 days after. So obviously, unless you wanted to play on the Sunday, you'd have to play on Boxing Day.
Well, no, that our game wouldn't technically be postponed.
Technically not, but it's a completely valid argument, and I absolutely understand where you're coming from. But
I just think I just see Boxing Day as a very strange day to schedule an FA Vase match.
I just don't think the FA will take the same opinion as you do.
Well, it's the FA. It's the FA. We all know the FA don't give a shit.
As probably right as you are, Walker, and I'm not going to sit here and massively disagree with you. But yeah, the FA are a weird organisation. We know that, we've encountered them many times, and they don't really care as long as they get the games played. That's all they care about, really.
Well, yeah, because they were happy for Tier 3 teams to have to carry on playing league games until all the leagues turned around and said, no, we can't do it because clubs won't survive.
Well, no, come on, that was the Premier League wanted that to happen, so the clubs go bust, so they can fucking dilute the system with their B teams. The local man, the working man of Burnley really wants to watch the Burnley B team.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop. I was going to sit back.
Let's hope that obviously the Barnton game does go ahead tomorrow, which means that the FA Vase game will be the 19th, and we'll be playing Hall Road on Boxing Day.
Well, potentially, if we have any more rain like we've had today, that'll be gone within minutes.
Well, let's not get into that, because I don't want to be kicked off the air again this week. So let's just not, shall we? But
Sam, it's too late for that.
That would be a good. It would be a good occasion.
The people of Allerton followed the podcast page last week, and I've gone in on the first 2 fucking minutes. I know I'm going to watch the first 5 minutes. Salt's fine. Salt's got good. It's me who's going to get it this week. I expect it. I expect it.
Although, it would be difficult with 150 at that Hall Road game. There'll be a lot of disappointed people. But that is a point I wanted to make, actually, while we're talking about this. Now, for a club like Ferriby, 150 people allowed in if we're in Tier 3. Now, Ferriby, I don't know the exact figure, but we've got over 100 and pushing 150, I would say, pass holders.
It's about 150.
Right, so that money's already in the bank. And the bar won't be allowed to be open, and the chuck wagon won't be allowed to be open. So actually, Ferriby won't be generating any income by carrying on league games. And I know not every club will be in that position, and people will say, oh, well, you've already got the money in the bank from the pass holders. But if the idea was that you let fans in so that clubs can afford to play and pay players, then at clubs where the attendance is only covering pass holders and you can't open your bar or food facilities, then you're not actually going to be generating any income.
That's true. It's not very fair, is it?
No, I just think it's a point to... I suppose the only thing they could have open is the shop. But
who's going to carry 20 quid of them to go and buy something from the shop? For me, that's just... It needs... Using it as a blanket on the Counties League ground grading, for me, even before, was backwards. It didn't make sense. When a club like Ferriby... There's other clubs in that league as well that could probably fill more than 150. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You've got to use common sense and think, right, what's that ground's capacity? Oh, it's this. We'll open up this amount. We're at a disadvantage already, money-wise now. I know people are going to be now going, oh, here we go, they're moaning again. But it's a luxury that we've got this massive fan base for this level, and we're kind of being punished for it.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for having football back on and everything, but it's just something I thought I'd raise on that. But yeah, we'll see what happens with this Vase game tomorrow. Obviously, we're talking about all this because obviously we are through to the next round, which we'll cover the Lower Breck game in a bit. So that's really good news, obviously. So we thought we were only going to have one more game before Christmas. And I think what you were saying about the league games, having league games lets you get into more of a rhythm. for the Vase as well. Obviously, as we will cover later, I thought both teams did extremely well last week. The level of game that it was, considering they'd had no football for 5-6 weeks. But that can't really help you, stop starting every couple of weeks or whatever. So to get the league going as well, and at least be in a rhythm of playing every Saturday and the occasional Tuesday, will be a lot better for players. I believe you've got a couple of results for us.
Yeah, I was just thinking when am I going to get these in?
Jeff.
I've only wrote them down because one result really tickled me.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Just how the FA had written on the website just made me laugh. I had to really Google what it meant. All right then. Gisborough 1, Liversedge 4. Liversedge are a force to be reckoned with. Luckily, we don't have to encounter them in the league this season, or maybe even next season.
They're the step 6 side where if you had to choose one that you would think out of step 6 that would go far in the competition apart from us, I'd pick them. Easy.
Yeah, Concert beat Maltby Main 5-0. Hallam beat AFC Blackpool in a 7-goal thriller, 4-3. RB Hay beat Hemsworth 3-1. And I've written Stourbridge, it's Stourport, isn't it? Against Skeggy. Stourport W, Skeggy O. Stands for walkover.
Obviously, that Stourport game was meant to be then against Grimsby Borough after Skeggy pulled out, and then the game was called off due to the weather.
Yeah, it's a walkover for Stourport, not Stourbridge. Sorry, Stourport Swifts. We're going to get them in the next round, though, aren't we? If we get past that. Bound to know, see them. And I'm going to get no nice mentions on Twitter. Oh, well. Yeah, there's only 4. There's only short and sweet today. It didn't need to be much, did it?
What league are Liversedge in?
League above us.
League above us.
Oh, hang on. I just realised something. Okay. Now, this is where I need to have my party hat on, my balloons and my, what's it called? The party noise thing. I don't know what it's called. The blow thing, and he goes, party blower, that's it. Right. Let's not forget, Fakenham beat Trash Tag, which means normal football has won. Football is the winner again. The fake plastic internet twats are out. What a fantastic day for football this is. Working class men of Fakenham beat the bloody Nancy boys with the bloody laptops on the bloody pitch filming themselves. They can piss off, right? And we'll get them in the FA Cup next season. I can guarantee it. Actually, no, it will because it's regionalised. And, we're not near that tanned fucking mess of Essex. We'll get them in the FA Vase next season, if they're ever on the line, and we'll go there and we'll beat them. Because we're an honest working class club. Not like that.
Can I just make a point?
Yeah.
All of the points you made are fantastic, Walker, and I'm not going to take them away from you. But isn't it Fakenham? I swear it's Fakenham. I swear it's not Fakenham.
Listen, whatever it is.
You sound like you're swearing at them.
The heroes, so working classes. They're probably not actually a working class. They're probably a very middle class area. So at least they've got a place to call home. They don't just rely on some stupid internet name.
God's sake.
God, he's really on one tonight, isn't he?
Thank you, Jeff.
God almighty, all comments are his own, viewers, can we just say?
Just come at me. Come at me, I don't care.
I love how controversial you've been sat there with your fucking Yoda Star Wars Christmas jumper on.
Can't take you seriously with it on.
Yeah, no, it's all that. It's all comedy. It's all a comedy act. It's not really me. I'm a nice, genuine guy.
No,
really.
Normally you would say boo to a goose, but no, Jesus.
I'm a keyboard warrior.
You are.
Even though I'm not typing, I'm just speaking.
You are. Just think, Walker, soon when we next have to go back to Wallerton, or God forbid we have to go back to Emily, you're going to be the new Sam Shepherd is a wanker.
Salt. I'm not getting into fucking Emily. I'm not getting into Emily's ground. Let's get this straight. The moment they see me walk up to them turnstiles, I'm getting turned away.
Walker, the people at the fence with the cricket field are going to be there in their droves singing, Ash Walker is a wanker, he's a wanker.
I like to call it a truth merchant, but Some people can't handle the truth.
Fantastic.
Right. Okay. God, this has been more eventful than I thought it was going to be. Final
Because
bit
we
of
haven't done it for
news
so long.
I wanted to touch on. Obviously, it's been out quite a while now, but we haven't had a show for a while. Eddie Rogerson
Yeah.
has joined.
Yeah.
Midfielder. Unfortunately, he hasn't made his debut yet because he's cup tied, so he can't play in the Vase. But we saw him like joining in with the warm up and things last week. But a valuable addition, more competition in the squad, and will be very,
Squad
very
depth.
useful when the league gets going again.
Definitely.
Squad
Great.
depth is what we preached. Squad depth is what we preached
Absolutely, mate.
before lockdown number 2, the false lockdown. That's what we preached. We wanted more players in. We've got more players in. Let's celebrate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Eddie, fantastic player, great on the ball. He's probably come at a good time. We're just about to lose Jamie Forrester to a bit of an injury for a short while. Well, now you know, don't you? But yeah, Eddie, fantastic player, great passer of the ball. Works a bit like you and Healy in a way, but just not as tenacious and doesn't love a yellow card as much. But yeah,
yellow card more than you and Healy Salt. Come on, let's get it right.
And we used to watch Danny Owen every week.
It makes Lee Cattermole look timid, does you and
Yes.
Danny Owen lived for red cards, not yellow cards.
Oh, that's true.
The yellow card was a failure for Danny Owen.
But no, Eddie will be a great addition to the squad, and like you said, Walker gives us that bit more squad depth that we can use either from the bench or from the starting 11. So yeah, it's a good signing and one that I'm sure we'll all back.
Yeah, it definitely it's a great bit of business. It really is. It's an exciting signing. A little bit unfortunate that he can't play in the Vase, but it's just one of them things.
Yeah.
But we shall see how he hits the ground running in the league because we're going to need every player we can get, obviously, because the season's going to be even more packed together now than it would have been. And we're still, as we keep hearing with COVID and the vaccine and how, we're still in for a long, hard winter. The same will be the same in the Counties League with a few postponements and things thrown in.
It's always a long, hard winter in the Counties League. Come on, Sam.
Yeah.
You know whose fault it is, Sam? Whose fault it is? It's Bill Gates' fault. So is Bill Gates' fault. Everything's Bill Gates' fault. He's going to be controlling every single English Football League player in about a year's time with his bloody microchip.
I'll tell you what,
nonsense.
Bill's nearly got as big a vendetta against Emily as you have.
I mean, it's just nonsense. Some people.
So, right. What we'll do now is we'll move on to last week's game. So we've talked about Ferry being into the next round, which they are. Where?
Hang on. Are we going to talk about who we're playing?
Yeah. Well, we'll come to that.
I've done research.
It's all right.
I'm really proud of myself.
We'll come to that at the end.
Thank you.
So we're through. We're stampeding towards Wembley. I think we're in the last 64 now. Yes. This has to be the longest domestic cup tournament of any in the world.
Let's work it out. So when we beat Northwich, it was 4 rounds to Wembley, according to James.
Yeah.
And we're still only in the last 64.
We're in the bloody quarterfinals, according to him.
Evening, James.
Evening, James.
I'm sure he's watching actually as well. Yeah. Hi, James.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're through because we beat Lower Breck 2-1 last Saturday. Now, I'm going to say this now, and I don't want any other comments or anything, but I just want to say a big thank you to the chairman. It was shit for people that we couldn't have anybody there. Me and Ash privileged to have been there.
Hang on, Sam. I don't have a club jacket with my initials on, so I wasn't there.
You were there, and you were doing a job, as was I.
Good job.
Right?
Can we talk about my job? Because I was very proud of myself.
Well, you took up the famous goal updates with the 5 million L's on the end.
I've revolutionised North Ferriby FC Facebook over the last week.
Yeah.
For about an hour and a half on Saturday. I mean, no, to be honest, it was very hard to type in the cold weather. But I can't moan. I was at the game, you see. We can't really moan, can we? And I did feel guilty. I
I was videoing it for analysis for Chris and Robbo afterwards, and yeah, we were all there, and it was a weird day all round. It was a weird feeling. I know Jack, you'd experienced it with the friendlies, but obviously friendlies are meaningless at the end of the day. This was obviously a big game in the season. So yeah, it wasn't a great feeling. It was very bittersweet at the end. But we were there, so we will talk about the game. And I thought I've got to give huge credit to both teams. Really, I have to say, I thought Lower Breck were a very good side. In my opinion, they're the best side we've played in the Vase.
Yeah.
I thought they were
No,
very.
Northwich were better.
I don't
I
know.
don't think they were.
Yeah, Northwich offered more. Northwich scared me more.
Yeah, but
Well,
I think that was probably because they were a bigger club, and it's
No, I mean on the
big
pitch.
club
On the
mentality.
pitch, they scared me more. They looked more dangerous than Lower Breck did. No offense to Lower Breck, they were good at what they did.
They were. I thought they were well organised. They were a tenacious side. It was a real battle of a game. But I just think both clubs did well to hit the ground again in a big game like that after the enforced break.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought it was good. It was a nerve-wracking game, but it was a decent enough game to watch.
It wasn't like it was one of them where you're watching it through your hands at some point.
Yeah, it was. And God Almighty, I mean, honestly, I thought we were nearly ringing an ambulance for Jack in the second half.
My ears are still ringing, Sam, after his shouting in that second half. My God.
Shout? I don't know what you mean.
I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it didn't get picked up on Old Kingston Radio.
I am.
But
muted him.
Ferriby, couple of big players missing as well, so we did really well. I thought. Obviously, we went 1-0 down about 30 seconds after we had a perfectly legitimate goal disallowed, which we watched on the video afterwards, and it's an absolutely farcical decision that wasn't given for Tom Corner. His header, he literally put his hand on the guy's back, and the guy fell over, and the referee gave a free kick.
He's used it for leverage. That's all he's used it for. He's taller than him. He's leapt higher than him. And he's been done, but yeah, that was unlucky for Tom.
So lower Breck broke on us, counter attack, literally. Hey, well done. Yeah, I know.
To be fair, we switched off because we was too busy arguing.
Yeah, there was a lot of arguing with the referee. 30 seconds later, the ball's in the back of our net. We're 1-0 down, and we thought, God, this is going to be an hard afternoon because they'd acquitted themselves well. I thought they were better in the first half than they were in the second.
Second half, they were very good.
But to Ferriby's credit, Ewan Healy, who I thought was superb,
quite sensational.
Took the ball by the scruff of the neck, the game by the scruff of the neck, I should say. Found the bottom corner from 25, 30 yards, and that was it. That was literally, I think there was about 90 seconds between our disallowed goal, Lower Breck's goal, and us equalising.
Their reserve squad was still celebrating in the stands.
Yeah, their huge committee that was there.
Five of which were apparently players.
Yeah,
reserve players. I think it was that big Scouse lad who was a backup striker, don't you?
Yeah, I agree.
I think so. But yeah, we equalised very quickly. And from then on, I thought Ferriby controlled the game very well. We were definitely the more dangerous side in the second half. We looked like scoring on more occasions. Lee Hutchinson was very difficult for them to deal with. He played really well. Ewan Healy was fantastic in midfield. And then Mr. Leyland stole the show. Now, everyone's wanted Ben Leyland to score for so long. And obviously, we saw his shot from 30-odd yards away at the club who must not be named that hit the post and didn't go in. So he's shown he's got the... I'm moving on. It's Emily.
They've got a fence at the far side, Ash.
So he's shown he's got capabilities from distance, but honestly, you watch this goal back that he scored, and what a strike! What a strike it is! It's fantastic.
Can I just pick on something? If Salt's position on a Monday night was anything like the goalkeeper's, Lower Breck's, I'd be disturbed. The positioning wasn't great, but it's a hell of a strike.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but there's something weirdly satisfying about a goal that comes off the post and goes
Oh,
in.
yeah,
It goes in at
massively.
the other
Yeah.
side. It was, it was brilliant. And I'm chuffed for Ben, as we all were, and the players absolutely loved it as well. And I thought similarly to Wivenshaw, really, that once, all right, Wivenshaw, we went in front, we'd got back level. The opposition never really bothered us after that. They had a couple of
Well, I was
shots
just
near
about
the
to
end when
say.
they were in desperation mode, but other than that, I thought to our credit, we controlled it really, really well that last
Yeah.
half an hour.
I was just about to say, name me any chances they had other than their goal, and then the one that Douglas tipped over.
Can't.
No,
You
Douglas
can't.
saved
They
one
didn't.
shot, I think, that was straight at him, but other than that,
Yeah.
not a lot.
And we had a lot more chances than they did.
That was the thing.
They were never going to win that game. Lower Breck were
No.
never ever going to win that game. If they got a draw, fair play to them. They defended well.
Yeah.
I think that was their game plan. To be fair,
Mm.
Anyway.
They were dangerous on the counter, but they just didn't create any chances. They didn't create enough chances.
They were one of
They
them
were dangerous,
teams.
but we picked it up.
They had a bit of pace, but they got to your box and they just ran out of ideas completely.
Yeah. Final third, they were just not at it. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it just shows the credit to them that what it's taken to beating them is 2 class strikes. To be fair, I thought it was. I'm going to contradict myself here, but it was a very end-to-end game. But it was a very defensive game, if you know what I mean. Like, not many chances were being created, but the ball was being played freely.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, there was a lot of good work from both teams, but not a lot of great work in either box from both teams. Is probably a fair way of summing it up. But I think, and in fairness to them, you've got to give credit. You've got to give credit to them because they came out afterwards. They said the better team won. They left the away dressing room in an absolutely immaculate state, which you don't see very often whatsoever. So fair play to them.
Yeah, their manager came into the home dressing room after the game and congratulated everybody, saying well done. Obviously, we saw their brigade, including 5 players, came over to us at the end, didn't they? All were very nice.
I mean, this is after an absolute massive game of verbal tennis between you and them. A game of verbal tennis between you and me. You.
No.
The rest of us sat there and watched the game. You couldn't help yourself.
Excuse me.
You couldn't help yourself.
We were with Mark and James Chesney. Come on.
They were on their best behaviour. It was you I was worried about.
Oh, were they? What were you worried about me about?
You mouthing off for no bloody reason.
I don't mouth off. I don't know.
You're just very passionate, aren't you, Jack?
Passionate, mate. That's the word.
Yeah, very.
Passionate is his middle name. Jack Passionate Salt.
But yeah, I'm full of praise for the team. I thought they handled it superbly well. It wasn't ideal circumstances. There was, they didn't have the home fans behind them. They hadn't played football for a long time. They'd had one training session. They didn't have Danny Emerton, who's been one of the best players all season. They didn't have Buttle either. So it was a good performance all round. They got the job done. And unfortunately, everyone just had to go home at the end. Players couldn't even have a drink to celebrate or anything. And
that
it was
was
just
morbid, mate. That was morbid.
Yeah. Well, the chairman said, hasn't he, that it was his weirdest day in football, and he's been in football 40 odd years, and he said he's never experienced, a day like it. Coming in after the game and having a cup of tea. It's just.
You weren't right.
I didn't even get a cup of tea. I wasn't offered one by Salt. He didn't make me one.
I'm not the tea maker.
I was waiting for you to make me a cup of tea, but you didn't get me one.
But I'm not the tea maker.
Well, it should be.
No, Zach's the bitch. He can do it.
That's not very nice, Jack.
That's in a nice way. He does a very good job, does Zach? I'm absolutely not putting him down there at all.
I think we're all agreed as well. You and Healy, man of the match.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I agree.
What a performance. His last few performances for Ferriby have been outstanding. What a signing.
Him and Kirky in the centre of that midfield, there's no better combination in the Northern Counties.
No, not
Premier
a chance.
there isn't.
Or
Division 1.
I wonder what East Hall think about that statement. I'm sure they're happy with their midfield too.
Who?
East Hall. I'm sure they love their midfield too.
God, we haven't mentioned them yet.
No,
Do they still exist?
Well, they existed.
bless him.
Unfortunately, they do. Unfortunately.
It's all right
yeah.
though. 'Cause Kev's what's Kev? Is he the president now? Is he? What is he?
Good on him.
Some people that
Good
didn't
on
get
him.
brought up. That didn't get brought up, and I want to show Salt a lot of appreciation here. And he on the Ferriby Club official, on the club's official Twitter account, you congratulated Kev Rev, and I'm really proud of that because we're a club that we've had differences with Eastleigh in the past, but Salt is a grown up, right? Salt is a big boy, and he'll take, he's a welcoming man for non-league football, and I hope he still do well. And that's controversial. Obviously, doing well for them is finishing 15th, but let them finish 15th. Let them exist. Just let them get on with it.
Yeah. Well said.
We've said this. We've said this. The only reason why there was animosity between us was with the Waltham and
Yeah,
Chadwick.
exactly.
That's gone out of
Exactly.
Eastall now. They're just. This is going to make it sound really bad, but they're just there now.
They're just another Northern Counties League team we have to play.
They're just like Hall Road to us now.
But I appreciate you having big bollocks, and putting yourself out there on Twitter and doing a decent thing.
I don't even think it's about having the bollocks to do it, Walker. I mean,
it's decency at the end of the day.
Kev is a very, very decent person. Kev wishes us the best on Facebook all the time.
Any football club would be looking to have a Kev Rev
Absolutely.
involved. We've got plenty. Yeah. We have got plenty of Kev Revs, but every club would be. You can never have enough Kev Revs.
Definitely, 100%.
What a man! What a guy!
Yeah, totally agree.
So Kev, if you're watching, cheers, son.
Yeah,
he probably is. He loves it. Loves it, just Kev.
So we made it through, and we awaited the draw on Monday. Now
can I tell you where I was when I found out? I was in
on.
Morrison's car park. I sat in the car for half an hour googling the teams. I was late at home. My mum wondered where I was.
Well, you said you've done some research, so we'll move on to this now. So we're playing either Barnton or Red Star. Now, Barnton are well known to teams in this league because they've already knocked Hall Road and Swallow Nest out this year. Another team, if we do play them in our conquest to knock out the entire Northwest region out of the FA Vase, because it will be another Northwest team, or we will be playing the dreaded team from the Northern League that Ash has been saying about all season long.
Can I excuse me, right? You just said I've been saying long. What did the chairman say on Monday night when we spoke to him after football?
We want to avoid concert.
No, what did he say?
That's what he said.
He said I made the point that Seaham have only won one league game out of 11, and the chairman basically said disregard the league games because Northern League teams live for the cup, is what he said.
Thank you.
So, just looking at the pure facts, Barnton are our level, Seaham are the league above us, but as I've said, they've only won one of 11 league games. They travel to Barnton, fingers crossed for them tomorrow, as we talk now on the Friday night, but there is a pitch inspection, so that might well be called off and it could be next week. But as it stands, that's what's happening. So, like I say, we know a little bit about Barnton. The fact
I know a lot about Barnton.
That they've knocked two teams from our league out so far. But yeah, go on then. We'll hand over to Ash, seeing as you've done some homework on this.
My research is very heavy on Barnton, not so heavy on Seaham because my tea was ready. Anyway, Barnton FC is a football club, believe it or not, in the village of Barnton, believe it or not, near Northwich, in Cheshire.
Have you taken a degree of stating the bleeding obvious?
Yeah, that was part of the point at first. It's from Wikipedia, so
I was going to say, just reading the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, I got bored after the first paragraph. So they were established in 1946, and in 1948 they had the proud acknowledgement of being the founder members of the Mid Cheshire League, not the Midlands.
Wow.
They're 11 times Cheshire League champions. They last won it in 2004, 2005. And their record attendance is 554 against backup Borough in 2016.
Wow.
There you go.
A couple more facts for you. Another one is, as me and Jack have just discovered, is that they share a ground with 1874 Northwich.
Yeah. I've got one for you. I've got one for you. Do you know the nickname?
It's,
Yeah,
we've
it's the
been on the Twitter
Villagers.
account all bloody week.
Villagers.
Yeah, the Villagers.
The Villagers versus the Villagers.
We'll have a Villager derby, boys.
I was going to say, who will be the Village Idiots? That
You
game.
two.
Well, Salt is a resident village idiot, isn't
Well,
he? Come on.
Only if I can tie you two with the same brush.
Do you want to know about Steam?
Oh, I didn't think.
They're from
you'd done it.
Sunderland and they're in the Northern League. That's about all I
Yes.
know.
No, they're
And
not
they're
from
not-
Sunderland, Sam. They're from
they're not
Seaham. Well, Sunderland, Seaham Red Star Football Club are a football club based in Seaham, in England.
Is it?
Like I said, my research isn't as extensive. They joined the Wearside League in 1979, and they were originally called Seaham Colliery Red Star. In 79, they reached the 5th round of the FA Vase. They won the Northern League second division in 2015. And here's a couple of former players, Jordan Hugill and Steve Harper.
Wow,
Both started their career at Seaham Red Star.
decent pedigree.
So basically, Walker, what you missed off there is they're the third best team in Sunderland. Obviously, first is Sunderland Rye Hope, then you've got the Sunderland, and then you've
So
got
that was the
them.
most predictable joke you've ever said.
Well, my jokes are predictable.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed. You opened yourself up for that joke.
Who would the two of you who would you rather face of these two?
Banton.
Yeah, probably Barnton, but if we were to get a Northern League team, I would probably have chosen Seaham over any of the others.
It is
That's
why I
right.
don't want to see them. But if they're not doing very well in the league, they're going to live for the cup, aren't they?
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
And that's why I don't want them.
that is a valid point, and we know how tough Northern League teams are.
And we've played North West County's team, and we've done all right against them.
Yeah.
Play what you know.
Yeah,
You get through that way.
it's a good point. Yeah, and looking purely at league status, you would want to play Barnton, you would think. But we'll see what they do against Seaham. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. Hopefully next Saturday on the 19th.
Fingers crossed.
And then we can make it another step further to going and buying the suits from Slaters, as we'll be into the last 32.
You know, James and his phone on Saturday, Googling Slaters. He loves it, doesn't he? He's booked a measurement, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he has.
I don't think they'll have a slot big enough.
Fucking hell, Sol. Brutal, mate.
Well, they might get two uses out of his because Hull City are still in the King Pizza Trophy, or whatever it's called, aren't they? So
They're not getting past Fleetwood. Let's be perfectly honest.
They've had to play him. What is this? What, the 5th time this year already?
It's only the 3rd. The way that was going on Twitter was embarrassing, can I just say? But I mean, what do you expect from that football club?
Last thing to mop up on last week's game is that unfortunately no forfeit money went into the pot from any of us because there was no clean sheet and none of us have Healy or Ben Leyland. So
But I think for the first time this season, though, Sam, despite not putting any money in, both of your players were playing.
I think it is the first time this season that both of my players have started. No, it's not, because Nelly and Hutch both started at Wivenshaw. It's the second time that they've both started in the last 2 games.
Just while we mentioned his name, Nelly was fantastic Saturday as well.
Great passion at the end as well. Great passion at the end.
He offers something different to what Ben Leyland and Josh Dennett offer us. He offers us that bit more experience and there's that bit more calm.
Very, very positionally disciplined as a player.
Yeah, he is.
He was
solid.
Very, very good.
Sorry, I digress.
No, but yeah, that is a good point. Obviously, I haven't had that much. But yeah, so unfortunately, we didn't earn anything last week. Now, the big news of the week that will be going down really well, especially in the Chesney household, is the Super 6 is back on the 19th.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so we will be kicking off with Ferriby's Vase game and 5 Counties League games, or if the Vase game isn't going ahead, Ferriby's League game and another 5 league games. But yes, we will kick the Super 6, the biggest fan cup tournament prize in non-league football, the 2010 Villagers Super 6, will restart with Mark Chesney in the lead and Dan Tomlinson close behind in second. That kicks back off on the 19th.
Dan's got a chance.
I'd rather Dan won than Mark. I won't lie.
We
Mark,
can't play favourites. We can't play
No,
favourites.
we can't. We don't. I don't mind who wins.
as
But
long as it's not your mother.
she's got no chance. Don't worry about that.
He's putting in our scores wrong. I think
I
that's
know.
probably
I
what it
think
is.
you are, Sam.
No,
I
I'm
think
not. And you
he's
took an
he's
in.
doctoring them. She
You
had a good start, so he's got to think, oh, God, we can't let this get too realistic.
Because if he hadn't doctored it, she'd be 20 points clear, you see.
I know. I'll chuck a Harrogate Railway win in there, just in
The
case.
spreadsheet can be independently verified at the end of the season if you don't believe me. But it's very
Of course
easy for
we
you
believe
to
you, Sam.
sit there and slag me off and say that when I do all the work. Thank you very
You
much.
never.
Can I just say? Can I just say he just does it himself? He doesn't ask
Yes,
us.
he doesn't ask.
He lives
just
it
takes it upon
for
himself.
years, right? He loves organising things,
Yeah.
does Sam. And he's moaned for years about us not organising anything. When it comes to something, he just fucking does it.
I know.
He
Honestly,
lives for it.
we
He
had
sits and moans. He
we
loves
had our
for it.
Magic Weekend hotel booked for next year before I even knew what date it was.
Oh, I know. He used to do this when he was younger. Oh, Magic Weekend's booked. Who booked it? Oh, you did, Sam. Yeah, I know. I always book it because you want to do it. You love it. You live for it, Sam. But fair play to you. Do a very good job.
Thanks.
Very good job, Sam. Very
Well
good
done,
job.
Samuel.
Well, anyway, it's hotly contested at the top. We've had a couple of months off from it, but we're looking forward to it coming back because it was going well, and hopefully some of the games are a bit more predictable than a few of the ones where before the lockdown. So what we'll finish off with tonight is I believe Yoda has prepared a quiz.
Well, there's a bit of a problem because I'm on my phone, and what it's doing, it's showing the person who's speaking. So you have to hold it up one at a time and show me it.
Okay.
So if I say, when I say show me, Salt will go first. Say who is chosen or what is chosen. Then I'll go to you, Sam, and I'll tell you who's correct at the end.
Okay.
Anyway. Well, there's 6 questions. I thought we'd go big time today. Now, number 1. This is before our time, this, boys. But I thought it was an interesting question. When did Ferriby last play in the North Counties Eastern League? What was the last year the club played in the North Counties Eastern League before last season? Tell me when you're ready.
I've got an answer. I'm probably very wrong, but
I'm going to give a point to the closest.
My pen's run out.
well, that's helpful, isn't
I'm
it?
just gonna say my answer when it's my turn.
Go on in. Salt, what have you got for? What have you gone for?
2002.
Okay, Sam?
I was gonna say 2001.
Sam, you're closer. It's 2000.
I was going to say 2001 and all, for God's sake.
That's 1-0 to Sam. Number 2. Where did Ferriby sign Liam King from?
Oh, God.
Liam King.
Where did we sign him from?
You ready, Sam?
I know this isn't right, but
Well, now you've written it. Don't show it because I'll say mine, and then we can't say I'm stealing your answer.
okay.
Go on in, Sam.
I'll say Matlock.
Okay, so
That's a good shout. I put Halifax. I don't know.
it's a fucking great shout, that, Sam. Well done.
Matlock.
It's 2-0.
Yeah, it is. That is a great shout.
It's 2-0. Now,
It's really good
we all know how fantastic the FA trophy run of 2014-15 was.
Yeah.
But we had a good run the year before. Who did we beat in the first round of that trophy run the year before we won it?
God, that's a difficult question.
It is. I feel a bit harsh putting it in there. I'll give you a clue. It was away from home.
I've no idea. I've guessed.
And it was on my birthday.
I've guessed.
Away from home.
I didn't go. There's another clue.
I will say it's wrong, but I'm going to say Buxton.
Okay. So
I put Nuneaton.
we beat a National League side. We beat Hyde
Oh,
2-1.
oh God, yeah. That wasn't. I only went to Hyde once, so me and you went, Ash, and we got
Yeah.
beat.
I was about to say no one went, but I thought I might give it away. Number 4. Who signed for the club first? Lee Morris or Matt Gray?
I'm gonna say Lee Morris.
So have I.
Okay. It is Moser himself.
I
Got 3
didn't.
months in it, I reckon.
I didn't think you'd have asked it if it wasn't.
Well, he's a main man, and he Moser.
He is.
I'll always remember his goal away at what's it called, Barton in pre-season.
Yeah.
Right then, number 5. To the nearest 10, what was our average attendance last season? To the nearest 10.
I think I know it exactly.
If you want to get exactly, you can have 2 points. If you want to risk it, but if it's wrong, you don't get the points.
I'm risking it.
Okay.
If you get it wrong, you don't get the point.
I have no idea, but I'm gonna say
To the nearest 10, remember.
$380.
Oh, that's interesting. I've got something in my head. I've gone for it exact.
Sol.
I think it's 372.
No, Sol, I told you that if you got this wrong, you wouldn't get any points. You don't get any points.
Is it 300? Is it 392?
It's 357.
Oh, it's less than that, is it? Oh.
So 350 of what I was looking for.
I swear I remembered 372 from somewhere.
Right then, last question. Sol, you're not out of it yet. You might be down by 2 points, but you're not out of it yet.
Hang on, I'm just trying to find some paper. Here we go.
Right, if you get this bang on, you get 2 points.
There's no chance of that, so go on.
If you get it, the closest to it wins 1 point. Then, okay, so how many goals did we score last season before we was rudely interrupted by COVID?
Bloody hell.
We played 25 games, if that helps anybody.
We played 25 games.
We played 25 games. How many goals did we score in those 25 games before the season was rudely interrupted by a bat?
How many have we played? 25.
25 we played, apparently, according to the North Counties Eastern League website.
All right, I've got a guess.
I'll go with Sam first.
I'm going to go for 41.
I've gone a bit higher than that. I've gone 48.
Oh, Sol. Sol.
What?
You're 3 off, mate. It's 45.
Oh.
So, Sol, you won the point. But you lost 3-2.
Yeah, that's all right. I can deal. With that.
But he was 3 off, Sol. So, that was a cracking guess from you as well. Cracking guess.
I knew it.
This is going to sound like a load of crap, but I was literally about to write 45 and change.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
I knew we weren't like massively prolific last year,
that's
so it was our defense that was more impressive than our attack. So yeah, well, I shall take that hollow victory, 3-2. It's about time I would have few of these quizzes.
I can't even buy you a pint, so.
No, I know.
You're stuck at this buying pints business, Walker, aren't you?
Well, that's because somebody had to bat.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but
apparently.
Come on, we're at the beginning of the end. Remember?
That's what Matt Hancock
Hang
told
in
us.
there. We haven't got much longer to go.
Give me that jab. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, what I would like to end on this evening is a bigger piece of news than any other in the last few weeks.
Oh, I think I might know what this might be, but
it is slightly Ferriby related.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because it relates to a former player of the club.
Ooh.
And a legend of the club, actually.
Oh, I might be right. I think I might know
but
what it is.
Unfortunately for this legend, he went home last Monday evening with his tail between his legs because Paul Foot's side in the North Ferriby six-a-side Monday Night League, we're defeated 4-3 by the mighty Shartin FC.
The mighty Shartin boys.
Now,
The Great Escape's on, boys. The Great Escape is on.
We had to talk about this because this was a superb performance by the boys. We
Better
were
than
brilliant.
Ferriby's against Lower
It
Breck.
was-
Miles better.
And I must say,
It was heroic.
someone should have filmed it because Jordan Douglas would be out of a job because this man on this call, Mr. Salt, would be our new goalkeeper. He was superb on Monday night. And you'd be giving Levi a run for his money, Ash, for some of that last-ditch
absolutely.
defending.
I
It
can't
was...
take any credit. We all played well.
Oh,
Everyone pushed it. Everyone was fantastic.
and in fairness to Footy, as he always has been, he's a gent. He shook his hands at our hands at the end and he said, "You
Can we
deserved it,
talk
lads."
about my favourite moment of the game was the corner where Footy leaped all over Hickey. Hickey was on the floor, the poor bastard.
Some
6 foot in the air.
of Salty's time wasted was brilliant as well. Second half.
It was biblical, so that time wasted.
Let's face it, but I don't run anywhere when we're winning.
No.
I don't run
Well,
anywhere.
we've got a big relegation 6-pointer now on Monday. We can't get caught up in this win. You know, we've got to get back to the basics.
We do.
A big 6-pointer.
We do.
Yeah, it is. It's a big 6-pointer, but it was a massive confidence boost. Obviously, great to get back to being able to play six-a-side at Ferriby again after a good few weeks out. But yeah, we had to mention that tonight because we don't get many wins, and Footy's team aren't one of the worst teams in the league either. They're a good side, so it was a very good night.
We've won 2 of our last 3 now, boys. Does that mean we're in form?
Technically, yes.
Technically, if I was looking at us on a coupon for a football bet, I'd be saying they're in for you'd back them at home.
And we've got one of our relegation rivals at home.
We just haven't got the marquee signing. That's the problem.
Yeah, but we've got Dan's mate if we need him.
That is true. That is very true.
He put in a shift for us, didn't he? To be fair to him,
Yeah.
It was an hat trick.
So unlucky Footy. You know, great guy at Ferriby, but we take great pride in beating your team last week, so we had to bring that up. And we will let you know how we got on next week in our, like Ash says, our relegation 6-pointer.
Listen, we will let you know how we got on if we win.
Yes, if we lose,
we won't let you know. So if we don't hear anything from us, we've lost.
Yes, basically.
Oh, we're not talking to each other because Salt's made a clanger like he did the few times we played Duke Destroyers before.
Yeah.
Who was he dropped the ball in the goal against?
I can't remember. I try not to remember these things.
Obviously, we've all made mistakes playing football. I made plenty. I missed the ball on Monday, to be fair.
You missed the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I was drunk.
Sam will score once.
Oh,
he hit the post on Monday, to be fair to him.
He do you know the one thing with Sam, and he has a great obsession with this? It's the wheel on the side of the goal that you have an obsession with. But
you said I missed the ball a lot. It was only twice, and it was in the first 5 minutes whilst I was recuperating. And it was that Paolo Di Canio Napoli shirt that gave me superhuman powers.
It was.
That's it.
It was.
That thing will not be coming out. That thing is not coming out on Monday. That thing is hung up.
Retired.
That thing is hung up. I need to go to the gym about 50 times before I put that fucker back on.
Oh,
wow, what a
great
it's my size. So I think the Italian men must be just smaller than I am.
Well,
and more well built.
And on that note, we'll end, shall we? This has been the 2010 Villagers podcast. You know, as we've said before, you know, please don't be offended by anything we've said on here, especially Ash.
I'm gonna have to go on 2 weeks hiding now again. The boys from Ollerton will be coming after me again.
Well, anyway, we look forward to the game next week. Hopefully, it's the FA Vase game. We'll find out over the weekend who will be playing, and we will be back soon to discuss that and everything else North Ferriby FC related. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Au revoir. See you later.